Everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. How about this? 20 dubs in a row. With 2 Spirit Hearts, but really, really good stats. TXAH 2PVF. Sorry, I stumbled on the words. I have the hiccups. I'm not a very hiccup prone gentleman. You know, I'm not saying I deserve any credit for that. I'm merely suggesting that when I get the hiccups, it's rare, and it always has an easily determined cause. There's 3 main culprits. And you're gonna laugh, but it's true for me. One of them is drinking a soda too fast. That is not what happened. The other one is eating any kind of, like, soft potato product too quickly. Like if I eat mashed potatoes too quickly, or like French fries even. Like, I don't know if you'd call them a soft potato product, but you get what I mean. As long as we're not like debating minutia, you know, you get what I mean. And it was not that. The third, which is what it was, is eating a little bread too quickly. And I must admit, I ate a sandwich. The bread was thicker than usual, and I was like, I gotta eat fast so I can get Isaac done before the stream. And I've given myself some diaphragm-based contractions. And I think, you know, honestly, I think we're pretty much over it now. I can still sort of feel the strain on the diaphragm, though. So even though we have money equals power, I mean, we'll see what we get from this boss. But even though we have money equals power, I would very much like, if possible, if we got a little bit of cash, go to the shop. I'll spend my key. Go to the shop, buy a Spirit Heart, keep yourself moving in that regard, because it's... Oh, okay, I don't think we need it anymore. It's always a little dangerous, though. So now we're looking much, much better. I probably would still play pretty conservatively here. Like, that's the reason I'm not using the metronome. If you run the numbers, I'm sure... Well, I'm trying to think. I bet there's more spacebar items that give you a chance to get HP, or a guarantee to get HP, than there are spacebar items that hurt you. But it's kind of close. Like, there are spacebar items that... I mean, let me put it this way. Even if it's not really about what's more likely and what's less likely, it's about how devastating it would be if it happened, you know? Right now, we got a good thing going. All we need to... You know, it's like being up 2 strokes on the 18th hole of the Masters, you know, the final round. Do we need to hit a birdie here in order to win the tournament? In all likelihood, the answer to that question is no. What do we not need to do? Or what do we need to not do? Those of you who don't speak English as a primary language might be confused by that sentence, and honestly, you deserve to be. It's structured very strangely, but, oh, that was my bad, completely. We need to not hit a bogey. And if we hit a double bogey, it could all come crashing down, right? So, a bomb would be okay here. Okay, you love to see it. We're looking for a tinted rock. With no tinted rock, we're not going to use a bomb to just access the stone chest. That's probably... You're gonna stomp, right? Oh my god, come on, man. Thank you, thank you. I'm gonna shoot these real quick, because it's still a little precious. But right now, the dream, without a doubt, is if we could just get 9 lives from the shop, that's like a demonstrable, objective, like full stop, huge upgrade for us. We got more than enough, like, sauce to keep this run moving. No Krampus would be nice. Dude, you have to. Like, it's not even that dangerous. It's dangerous enough to get you thinking, don't get me wrong, but it's... Well, you know what? I don't really think we want to do anything else on this floor. The only thing I would really think is maybe, like, you can get money equals power from a secret room that has some money on it. And it did have some money, and it also had some bombs. But without keys, there's no way for us to get into our shop. So this is it's a really, really, really good run that just has a little, you know, the slightest problem in it. You know, you got like 1 red flag. And actually, Maggie's Faith probably completely erodes the possibility of that red flag. So I would say, I mean, I'll be the first to tell you, over the course of this, you know, new streak, I think we've had like one run where things got a little spicy. And I don't want to seem braggadocious, but it's really quite the opposite. I think we've had one run where things got a little spicy. Every other run, I really feel like the coefficient of Brimstone and Mom's Knife has been like higher than I've seen in a long time. And I offer zero complaints with respect to that whatsoever. Honestly, it's kind of nice to be carried. You know, it's like when you're a kid and your parents pay for all your meals, you take it for granted, you know? When you're an adult, maybe your parents, I mean, this is a me story, but my parents come to visit. Whenever they're like, don't worry, we got the check, I'm like, this is the greatest gesture I've ever been given in my entire life. It means more to me than the original gift of life you gave me. You're picking up the check. You realize, like, as an adult, I think that's why adults fight over the check so much, is because it's such a... You so rarely get paid for as an adult that it feels wrong, you know? Like, I would not classify myself, pardon me, as like a you know, outlier in terms of generosity. But we've been lucky in life and we've done well for ourselves. So, you know, sometimes we'll foot the bill when we go out for like a meal with our friends. And oftentimes, I mean, this hasn't happened since COVID, but, you know, we're talking about ancient history here anyway. But, you know, sometimes they'll drive for like, you know, 3 hours to hang out. So, you know, picking up dinner is like the least, you know, I would much rather pay for 2 dinners than drive for 3 hours myself. It's still not equitable. But a lot of people, and this, again, is not a character defect, it's just the societal norm. They'll, like, bend over backwards to be like, I'm gonna keep a mental ledger of the fact that you paid for this, and, you know, because I got the Shirley Temple, that's gonna be an extra, you know, $4.50 on top, but I'll get you back. It's okay. It's a barter economy. It's not like I'm paying for your friendship, but I'm, you know, showing my appreciation. You're paying your gas money, effectively. I don't know. How much gas do you think 3 hours of driving takes? It's probably like 30 bucks Canadian worth of gas. I mean, it depends what you're driving. And like, whenever we would drive to Seattle, it would usually use like half to 3/4 of a gas tank. And then filling up our car from empty takes like 55 bucks, maybe 60, depending on oil prices. Or gas price. I don't know what oil prices are, but... So sure, I don't know why I'm getting bogged down in the minutia, but... Alright, let me out, please. We still are suffering very slightly from a dearth of keys. We got a real, you know, a lack of keys. Everything else is... I mean, I couldn't be happier, quite frankly. We got Mom's Knife. We got a respawn, and it's arguably, like... It's one of the 2 best respawn items in the game. We got the scissors. That's pretty sweet. We actually have a space bar. I'm gonna try one of these. Okay, that's fine. Because there were 2 of them, so I was like, if it's bad, we'll only take 1. If we take 2, then it's... Or if it's good, then we'll take 2 and it's twice as good, but... Anyway. That's my reasoning there. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I feel like that is a secret room. Okay. I feel like this is a secret room. It is what it is. It is what it is. Well, I'll tell you, we're not likely to lose on the Brandon Sutter here. I think we're definitely headed straight for the Louis Erickson number. That's pretty sweet. These are hockey references. You gotta forgive me. Like, I have been talking about hockey a lot recently, and even over the past few years, occasionally we'll slip into a hockey modality. This is the first time in like... Oh, my bad. First time in like a half of a decade that my team has made the... playoffs, really, and then also secondarily, at least as of the time of this recording. So it's also the first time that they're doing pretty well. You know, last time they were in 2015, 2016, they played 1 series, and it was kind of like a fight for survival. I remember we were down 3-2 in the series, and then Game 6 came around, so we could be eliminated. We went up something like 4-0 or 4-1 in the first period. We were out east, so it was a little later, and Kate was like, I'm gonna go to bed. She went to bed thinking that we had the win secured. Ended up losing like 7-5. I had to go up, and she was like, how's the rest of the game? And I was like, we lost. But now we're looking like... I mean, I'm not saying that we're going to win the Stanley Cup. That's a pipe dream, and I think people are getting a little wrapped up in the hype so far, but definitely been the most exciting playoff hockey since I've lived in Vancouver, so it's exciting. It's also nice we're playing against the villains for a lot of people. No offense if you're from St. Louis. You know, at the end of the day, it is just hockey, but... You know, it's a team that plays a little rough, and they've made a lot of enemies. So, getting a lot of tweets from people that are like, "Hey, you know, I'm not a huge fan of the Canucks, but I freaking hate the Blues. So, it would be nice if you guys could finish them off." It's nice. I appreciate that. Thank you. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. Either way, I think I'm in a great sports mindset right now. My sports mindset is very simple. I think the optimum position you could be in with any kind of sport is that when your team does well, it makes your day, and when your team doesn't do well, it doesn't affect you. You know? I think way too many people get wrapped up in the highs and the lows. And don't get me wrong, like in game 2 of the St. Louis series, Vancouver scored an amazing overtime goal to win the game. I was pogged up. It made my day. As lame as that may sound. All I can say is if you're another, like maybe you don't understand sports ball. It's like if Yoshi P did his letter to the fans and they announced that they were going to bring back Triple Triad. And you're like, now I get it. Yeah, exactly. But, you know, I think I've also come to terms with the fact, like, hey, as the worst place you could be in is, you know, if I win, it makes my day. If I win, I mean, if they win, it makes my day. If they lose, though, I am, like, inconsolable. Like, it's a very lame thing, I think, to be an adult human being. And if people are like, why are you in such a bad mood? You're like, my sports ball team lost. It's a very weak sauce energy. But why won't Travis Green give Oli Uelevi a chance? I've been listening to all the radio shows, dude. I think I know more than the coach. He doesn't listen to any of the radio shows. Yo, this is an amazing second secret room. We just got 2/3 of the Guppy Dream with a great deal with the Devil chance upcoming next. This isn't a second secret. Just leave before the bomb explodes. Maybe they won't charge you. So I think it's a good spot right now. And don't get me wrong, like it's not a Blues thing, it's not a Canucks thing, it's not a Yankees thing, it's not a Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim thing. Okay, I'll be back in a moment. Okay, we are back. No problem. Get myself back in the Isaac mindset. I mean, it's awkward. Like, we didn't have anything serious pop up. But we were selling some stuff privately, and the buyers came by. Had to do the classic little, like, you know, I'm not a salesman, but, like, I mean, I don't know. If you want to take a look at our winter tires, I don't know what you're looking for, but it all went smoothly. So we have no complaints. And you know what? We got no complaints about Isaac either. I will say, I've become very averse to selling things privately. Facebook Marketplace. Hold on, we don't want to leave yet. Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, Kijiji, Let Go, etc., etc. Because I think I've had my own choosing beggar sort of situations where, like, you put up a video game console or some used games or whatever, and then people go, you know, you're like, hey, I don't set the price, like, and I haven't done it in like 7 or 8 years, but you don't set the price high enough that you're really trying to, you know, screw people over. Then, you know, they'll send you a message that's like, I'm interested in the games, how much? And you're like, I don't know, like $5 a game. And they're like, well, it's my son's birthday. Is there any chance I could just get him for the price of free? And you're like, no. And then they're like, I hate you. You ruined his birthday. And I'm like, don't take this the wrong way. Your son may indeed be real, but my experience, we're looking for Guppy. Let's go, dude. My experience that one time I got Hearthstone beta keys told me that a lot of these kids are made up. I'm not saying yours are. It's still kind of, it's BM to, you know, troll through a storefront and be like, hey, you're selling something. Can I have it for free? But I mean, man, when back in the Hearthstone beta, when Blizzard gave me like 2 keys to give away, people lost their minds, dude. The doctor says I've only got 10 minutes to live. Can I have the... And I don't know, like, the thing is, I think the stories were fake. I certainly hope they were fake. Otherwise, I'm like, man, have you got like less than a week to live and you're watching my stream to try to win a Hearthstone code? That's like a sad story in and of itself right there. But no, you don't relent on it. Mostly because it was against the terms of the agreement that I had with Blizzard. They were like, it's gotta be a sweepstakes. Which is good because it absolves you of having to, you know, choose based on merit, which is not really what I do. Like, I was laughing, you know, the Fall Guys tweeted, like, we've got a conundrum. And it was someone who was like, hey, I was playing Fall Guys the other night and I was drunk as a skunk. People kept beating me, so I had to level the playing field by using cheats and I got banned. Can I get unbanned, please? The number of people in the comments who were like, the way that I think it should work is you get... your first offense, 24-hour ban. Your second offense, 30-day ban. Your final offense, lifetime ban. I think you should give them a chance. And I'm like, you really think... how many people do you think work on the Mediatonic team that is... I guess we probably should have used Diplopia there, but... you know, they don't have full-time... I mean, we could, but let's not. I'm not saying, like, they're a small team, you know, they don't have to do the stuff that other publishers have to do, or developers have to do. It's more like, hey, you know, you cheated, get banned, I guess is how I feel about it. If I got that email, I might be like, you're good, though. I might send them a message like, you know, thank you for being honest. Because we have it happen, like, that's been my philosophy on Twitch for a long time. Is, you know, if somebody says, hey, can I get unbanned? Sometimes people will come into my chat and they'll be like, hey, NL, can I get unbanned from Apollo's chat? And I'm like, well, like, I might ask him, even though I kind of resent that it's a waste of my time. But, like, you've got to admit what you did. And sometimes they're like, he was salty and I made fun of him, so he banned me. And I'm like, well, you deserved it. I'm not saying that some of my friends don't get salty during streams, myself included. But like, if someone's salty and you're like, hey, I'm just gonna antagonize them a little bit more, what do you expect is gonna happen? They're gonna have a sense of humor about you deliberately trying to wind them up? We'll pick this up too. I mean, this is a big get for us. Try this, maybe what? Ooh, baby, look at this. It's actually really good. That's an incredibly high yield AWAS rune. But sometimes they'll say it about me as well. Like, the message that I am, like, most receptive to is like, hey, like, I got banned in your chat 2 years ago. And I'm like, what did you do? And they're like, I said something terrible. And then I go through the logs and I'm like, you did, but you know, you were 16 then. That doesn't absolve you, but you know, it sounds like you've got remorse and you've changed. We'll give you another shot, but if you don't respond to the shot, then you know, you're still yeeted. I don't sometimes people, I think they get the wrong impression that like being a mod or an admin owns, because you have people's like online livelihoods in your hand. It's like very much the opposite, at least for me. Whenever people ask me to do something, it depends on the situation. There are situations where like, hey, this person is like being a total d-hole, you should do something about it. That's one thing. But when people are like, hey, you know, I got banned 2 weeks ago, can I get unbanned? I'm like, man, you know, let me give you the keys to the kingdom. If you don't act like an a-hole in the first place, you won't get banned, and then you won't have to ask to get unbanned, and then we're all happier as a result. Like, I resent having to be asked for the appeals process in the first place. I'm an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure sort of guy. But I do also recognize that, you know, people do things they regret when they're younger. Or maybe, you know, not to absolve it, but maybe they're on Twitch and they're under the influence. And it's been known to happen. And, you know, they wake up in the morning and are like, you know, I regret that I said that. That's one thing. But I do like it when people are like, you know... He was riled up, and I riled him even more, and then, you know, what am I supposed to do? That's what always gets me. In a good way, like, I always laugh at it. But, yeah, I mean, to finish my earlier train of thought, this was not a choosing beggars experience, you know? The people came and, like, looked at our goods, and I was like, I don't know if you need to examine it any further, and they were like, nah, it looks good to me. And then... I didn't even have to do the, like, hey, how much did we say it was going to be again? They just went, it was this much, right? And it was that much, and I said, yep, and then they handed me the money. And that's that. It was a great experience. I helped them load it into their car. It was a beautiful time. I love commerce when it works out like that. Anyway. I don't have a lesson in there. It's mostly just, it's nice to have my own expectations shattered, I suppose. I'm very thankful for it. Also very thankful for the fact that this run is going to be very, very simple. Just an easy coast to the finish line. It's not the best... Oh, that was not great, but... It's not the best guppy we've ever had. If you notice that I'm taking some dumb damage here, I wouldn't disagree. I'd happily have to agree, in fact. All I would also say is we have at least 11 lives. So it's not that I'm unconcerned about doing badly. It's more that, like... I'm not as concerned as I would be in a situation where it mattered. Maybe not the verbiage you're looking for. Come on. But I'll tell you, look, I know there are people who just love a deal. Like, that's their driving force in life. But even, like, when we were selling this stuff, some of the stuff you get, you know, from these private merchants, or I guess they're, like, public merchants, technically, it drives you up the wall sometimes. Oh, dude, Midas touch? Too bad static tiers don't do much for us. But, like, even, you know, we put up our products at a very reasonable price. And I know you might be saying everybody thinks their prices are reasonable. No, these are situations where, like, we bought things, you know, for X. And we use them, you know, like, very little because we never leave our house. And then we're charging like 0.5x for like this thing that's barely used and is, you know, not old at all. We still have people that are like, they try to do like the weirdest sales techniques of all time that only work if you're like 14 years old. One guy's like, hey, I'll give you, you know, 20 bucks. I'm right next door. I can be there right away. And, you know, I guess for some people they'll be like, just to have it out of here would be nice. But I'm like, no, absolutely not. Have you lost your mind? Don't worry about that alarm. That's not your cue to wake up yet. That's my wife's cue to check the Twitch bounty board. Once you spot, you know, weird sales techniques like that, it's a lot easier to avoid them, quite frankly. You know, the hard sell, like, you know, you hear about it, not that I'm like a great car negotiator or whatever, but you hear about it at dealerships all the time that are like, you know, they'll agree to whatever price you give them, but then like, oh, actually, they phone you up. I talked to our manager, they won't let me do it. I gotta add $3,000 to the price, and then you're like, I already feel like I bought the car, so never mind. Like, I'm still gonna buy it. Don't worry about it. Anyway, for now, thanks for watching. This is a weird and quick episode, but I'll see you next time. Appreciate the support. See you then.